Thing. Okay, good morning. Happy week before KubeCon, everybody. Paris, would you mind kicking us off with an update about mentoring?
Yes, it'll be a very short update, I swear. For those that are following along with the mentoring test cohort, expectations right now are a kickoff for the test cohort the week after KubeCon. We did have a SIG fallout, unfortunately, due to most of the folks being either on a release team or KubeCon or holidays and things like that. So I've been busy with recruiting another SIG, which is now SIG Apps, to join us, and we are recruiting the mentees. This, again, is the predetermined group mentoring cohort that will be going from member status to reviewer status in the organization. The docs are actually getting uploaded today to GitHub. Yay, transparency. And that will be located in the community repo. It'll most likely be under community/mentoring. And then all things mentoring will be under there. So that's going to include docs on Outreachy. It will include docs on the contributor office hours, which we just launched 7 minutes ago. And then also this group mentoring idea. And then to step out of the group mentoring and into the contributor office hours, we just kicked off the pilot 30 minutes ago. We had a 30-minute session. It was very similar to George's user office hours, except contributors came on who are interested in kind of beginning their journey. And we had, I think it was a total of 4 to 5 questions, mostly from the same individual, but they were all very good questions nonetheless. Aaron and a couple other people here right now were on the call. Probably should rename it from contributor office hours to something like contributor onboarding. George had that idea, but that's about it. If anybody has like mentoring questions, let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Paris. So Dev, I think you're up next.
I'm next. Okay, cool. Thanks. And the agenda is light, so I just closing the agenda. So, guys, in continuation to what we talked in our last meeting, I did mention about the triage efforts towards closing the issues, right? Or one of our important goal towards reducing the issues, open issues. I did send an email to the group. I'm not sure if everybody get a chance to look at it. But in that email, I'm sort of not proposing right now, but sort of to discuss with everyone, right? To create some one or multiple new labels towards finding the closing candidates, right? And part of condition to what we talked last week, Aaron, I know one of the action item I had was on the dev stat, sort of showing the open issues there, right, per SIG. I did create an issue. I did provide a link in last week's meeting agenda right there, and I can share here as well. But over there as well, I think some of the new labels seems helpful. Lucas did have comment there. And all these new labels, again, I had, I think there was some good reading in my email, hopefully. But those labels I'm been thinking is, like close/duplicate, right? For example, if I'm closing an issue, which is a dupe, or close/ like cannot recreate or already fix. So 2 things, right? One is with the label, we can display the closed candidates for the SIG. Last week we talked that SIGs has always sort of a problem of bandwidth limitation, right? This can give a better visibility towards what are the issues out there which are already initially triaged by somebody, and that can be closed, right, without much efforts. And the second is sometime back, a couple months back, we talked about some metrics, right? That, hey, to get a better view of the issues we are running, which are, dupes, duplicates, right? Having like a question, support questions, right? Or issues which are sort of, people open it and then they never return to answer questions, or did not provide the information which is required to recreate, to debug the issue. So, I mean, those are the two purposes I've been thinking with the new label. Again, like a generic label, something like close candidate versus, multiple labels towards closing with a particular reason or type of issue. So I just wanted to get, like, again, to put this under discussion and see if this makes a sense. I know last meeting, we also talked about sending an email to the Kubernetes broader community. But before that, I thought, let me just have a discussion within ourselves, right, first, and see if this makes sense.
Thank you so much, Sadev, for putting that together. I think your suggestion makes a lot of sense. Is that the consensus of the group? Does anybody have anything to add? Any questions?
I guess one concern I have is that it's us attempting to turn GitHub issues into something like Jira, where like in Jira, when you like close a ticket or resolve the ticket or whatever, you could resolve it as fixed or duplicate or won't fix or whatever. We have tried to do something similar on our own issues, and it didn't necessarily stick for long. I mean, I totally could see it. So right now, today, anybody who's a member of the Kubernetes org or collaborator on a given repo can /close, and the bot will assign the issue to them and then close the issue. This also works for pull requests. You could have them /close and then next to that, like /close duplicate, /close whatever, and the bot can automatically add the label, and that's super cool. But I guess, like, why wouldn't we just, like, because anybody can close, anybody can also reopen. So generally speaking, help me understand the negative impact of allowing somebody to just /close and then like saying why they closed it on the issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, Aaron, the other thing is, like you said, /close by an org member, right? It can be closed, right? I mean, two things. One is, I know with triaging, I'm not a member right now, okay, right? For example, and one of the things we are, I'll be speaking at a local meetup tomorrow in Raleigh, right? And I want to promote this triage concept with some of the other things. But one of the things I know, George and I, when we initially talked and, had some of the emails, right, was triaging can be an initial step for a lot of new folks who want to contribute, right? And, for them, they're not member, right? They're just looking at the issues, trying to put their comments, their findings, right? And say, hey, you know what, I cannot really recreate, or somebody already verified it's already been fixed, right? So all they can do right now is they can leave a comment there, right? That, hey, I already work on it. I could not recreate, and this can be closed, or this is just like a plain question, which is, you're suggesting that go to the Stack Overflow or, somewhere Stack server fault, right? For example. But all they can do is they can put a comment, and I provided few examples. I mean, I have such comments in many issues. And I was initially asked, for example, like, hey, help with triaging, reducing the issues, right? Now, any non-org member, if you helping towards it, you're adding the comments, but the issues are sitting there because all it has is the comments, right? And again, it's sitting there because I know we talked that because of the bandwidth limitations, right, by the SIGs. And the second thing, even org member can close it, but I mean, ideally it would be nice if the SIG member, particular SIG close it because they have a better sort of understanding of the issue. If it's like very plain trivial issue, any org member can close right away. But if not, then, org member can utilize something like, a closed candidate label, and that can help the SIG member, right? If they want a sort of second opinion. So those are the two things I thought, sort of will be very helpful. And then measuring, right, at the end of the day or month or end of the release cycle, if you want to see that, hey, we've been hitting with this numbers of issues, right? Around 5,000 all the time, 4,500. I mean, how many of them are just plain questions or duplicates and that kind of things, right? Basically giving a better idea on the dashboard. So three different things. I mean, I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, no, you convinced me. Like my gut reaction just comes from the place of, do you know how many hundreds of labels we already have? Like introducing more seems crazy, but I get your point. I would love to find, so in the interest of like, we think that this will empower and encourage more people to triage issues. I don't think we today have a way of measuring who is actively triaging issues today. This is another thing that could be added to DevStats, where like right now you can call out people who like /approve. I think there's like the approvers histogram, and I'm assuming that goes by people who use /approve. It seems like we could ask for another dashboard that's like people who use certain label commands, if anything, right? Like, or maybe the abstract way we could do this is we can see that the bot commands DevStats dashboard shows the usage of bot commands over time, and you could restrict it just to like the commands that are more actively related with triage. Because like I agree with you that I think triaging issues is a great way of onboarding people, and I don't think that that's something we acknowledge or measure today. So that sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Yep, and I mean, real quick again with the light agenda, right? I totally agree, Aaron, that right now we don't have measure or metrics towards sort of recognizing person doing triaging, right? And I mean, it's if we have something like that, that can actually encourage people to triage, right? Because they can actually, show it to their team, their bosses, and the community can take a look as well, right? That, hey, this guy has been doing. Awesome. Cool. So, I mean, what do you suggest? I mean, is it this is a good sort of just go ahead, send an email to the community with what we discussed today and see what's everyone's reaction there. I mean, that's the next step I think we should have.
I agree that sounds like a good next step.
Okay. Thanks, Elsa. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Thank you so much, Sadev.
Thank you.
And then rounding it out for us, Guinevere, do you want to talk about the contributor guide?
Yeah, hi everyone. I just wanted to quickly bring to everyone's attention that there's a new contributor guide in the community docs, and I know I mentioned this in the channel as well, but with Thanksgiving and KubeCon, I think I just want to not let it fall between the cracks. This is a thing that I would rely on everyone to kind of go over and look at and improve. And there is a place to start, and there also is an umbrella issue, and I can link both of them in the chat if you give me just a second. Let me do the issue first because that has all the links in it already. Yeah, I was wondering if anyone had any questions or what this is or what the process. I just kind of made an issue and put instructions on there, and I was hoping that people might start picking up and submitting PRs on it.
So I definitely will be over the next week. I was just chatting with her in the background saying how so I was thinking of sitting down maybe during KubeCon during one of the breaks or something, grabbing a table and then going through all the checkboxes and figure out which ones were missing and maybe just do like a mass, George will take these 5 items, someone else will take these 5 items. starting with the CLA, I think. So.
Yeah, I think if people just want to ping me, I can keep track of who's working on what in the original ticket, just so we don't have double efforts. Sorry, I just see something in the chat. Josh.
Thank you to you too, Gwen, for picking this up, by the way. Huge, 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 huge. Thank you. Public,
Right.
thank you.
Yes, the chat was you don't want to give a talk at Southern California Linux Expo, do you?
Say again?
When the chat message was you don't want to give a talk at Southern California Linux Expo, do you?
Tell me more about this.
I'll talk to you in Slack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm G Sager in Kubernetes Slack. I'll find you.
+1 to that.
Oh, okay. Aaron, you're grinning. It looks creepy with the beard.
Yeah.
Looks majestic with the beard.
And I will happily take some of those items after KubeCon too. My life has been a little bit of a whirlwind the last 2 weeks. So
Everyone's just trying to make it to KubeCon.
yeah, I was trying to make it to KubeCon right now, Gwen, I swear.
Oh no, I mean, I was the same. I'm like,
yeah.
at the very least, I can put some links in here, and then Thanksgiving happened, and I'm doing talks at KubeCon, and everything just came to a screeching halt. I just wanted to just flash the lights a little bit.
Yeah, good. No, continue. Flash them.
Okay, great. So that's really it, unless there's more questions.
Nope. Okay, thank you so much again for working on this. Does anybody else have things that they would like to address? Okay.
Nothing I want to address today, but I guess maybe an ask for our next. So 2 questions. Never mind. We're not meeting during KubeCon. The meeting after KubeCon, I would hope that we would go review what we promised for 1.9 and see how we're doing on those promises. I fully acknowledge I am behind on whatever I promised, and I don't even know what that is right now, but I guarantee I haven't done it. But it seems like it would be worth us just sanity checking how much of that stuff is still relevant. Because hopefully we'll have a lot more time after KubeCon.
Perfect. I will make a note.
So, is there a scheduled time for this SIG to meet during KubeCon? I was at the schedule today, and I don't remember if I saw it or not. I don't know if do we like book a room or?
Let's follow up on the mailing list for that, George. Let me see if there's something. I'll take a look.
I was just wondering if everyone gets a slot. Does every SIG get a slot and we show up?
The last leadership thing, Aaron and I and Eric just kind of met informally, but we can set up something more formal if.
I'm totally happy to have y'all come invade the SIG testing deep dive if you want, because I'd rather that be kind of more of an open discussion around what we can do to make testing better for people and where we can get help on that. Because at the moment, I don't have anything specifically planned for that. I think most of the deep dives might just end up being meet and greets. So if you want to come crash SIG testing at Wednesday at 3:40, feel free.
Okay, I also wanted to say, if you didn't schedule anything, don't break your back to schedule anything. I was just wondering if we were, or do we informally just say hi to each other? Or
I've been working with Linux Foundation on scheduling SIG meetings. So if we need one or want one, I think there was 1 slot left as of a week ago.
Is that something that people would be interested in?
Sure.
I mean, I'm interested, of course. I always have stuff to talk about.
I was just planning on chasing you all down individually, hanging out. But
for what it's worth, for the Contributor Summit, there's actually a lot of topics that fall into our wheelhouse that, I don't know if they've picked the list of topics yet.
Yeah, today it'll be published, I'd say between 5 and 6 o'clock COB PST.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we want to look at the agenda for the Contributor Summit and see if we hit what we want to talk about there, and then tomorrow maybe on Slack I'll send out a poll for whether we want to try and get a formal slot during KubeCon. If that doesn't meet our needs, what's happening in the Dev Summit?
I'll also check with Linux Foundation to see if there's any slots left, period.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be answered for us already. Okay.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Yes. Yep, see ya.